Thanks for tuning in to the Mission Matters podcast, where we feature successful, mission-driven leaders committed to creating a positive change in the world. Our mission with this channel is to inspire other leaders by providing industry insights, new ideas, and inspiring stories from the pros.
All right, hello, welcome. My name is Paul Fife, host of the show where I talk with leaders heading up mission-focused organizations, leading from the heart, inspiring others, and making a difference in our communities. The episode is sponsored by Paul Gregory Media, a certified B Corporation. To learn more about what a B Corporation is and what Paul Gregory Media does, visit paulgregorymedia.com. I'm excited. I know I always say I'm excited about this episode, but I really am because I've been working with Mary for a long time. I have with us Mary Kerbs, Executive Director of Naperville Elderly Homes, NEH for short, lovingly so, which proudly owns the Martin Avenue Independent Living Senior Community. How's that for a mouthful? Martin Avenue Apartments for short, but Martin Avenue Independent Living Senior Community. So her specialties, Mary's specialties, are in not-for-profit management, business development, strategic planning, project management, property investment. I have to take a breath here. Fundraising and event management, among other things. So welcome to the show.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks, Paul. I'm happy to be here and talk about NEH, Naperville Elderly Homes in Martin Avenue.
Yes, they do such great work. I can't wait to share with our audience all the wonderful things that you've been the Naperville Elderly Homes does. So why don't we just start there? What is Naperville Elderly Homes and how is that related to the Martin Avenue Independent Senior Living?
Right. Well, Naperville Elderly Homes is the nonprofit owner of Martin Avenue Apartments. And actually, we celebrated our 50-year anniversary last year, 2023. And it started because there was a group of concerned citizens back in the early 70s that felt that, with what was going on in our community and the growth and the housing, it was all good, but concerned that seniors may be left behind, as well as some others with disabilities. And so they came together, and they brought together a coalition of churches, and it was grassroots fundraising. And the first building opened its doors in September of 1973 to 120 residents. And it's been unique since the beginning because it's not just a low-income senior community with, minimal living quarters and that sort of thing. It's always been a nonprofit owner providing funding from community and others to help support independent living for seniors and affordable apartments. The difference now is in 2020, we undertook a big project to completely renovate all of the existing 120 apartments and add another 68 with a new building. And now we have over 200 residents who are living independently. And we created space in the community now to do things we could never do before. And amenities that we didn't have before, a fitness center, a movie theater, a bistro, a beautiful courtyard. It goes on, and that really is what makes us unique and we're able to sustain this for 50 years.
Wow. And these are, I can speak firsthand, these are beautiful living spaces. And like you mentioned, the bistro, which is this beautiful atrium, and the center courtyard. These are really beautiful. There's some great pictures on the website at martinav.org, and we'll encourage people to check those out. But yes, with that, and then when you said a expansion project, it was quite a big project, right? It was like over $10 million.
It became almost a $30 million project, and it was talk about partnerships. It was with the help of the Illinois Housing Authority, DuPage County, City of Naperville. Everybody came together to make this happen. And we did also get some low-income tax credits, and it was just it was a phenomenal feat to do this and bring this on in 2020. And we're so proud of it. And we feel like we're one of a kind in DuPage County.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to be proud of, right? Because you got community support, city support, the county support of DuPage County, and Illinois
Yeah.
from the Illinois Housing Authority. So,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody from the state all the way down to the community has been involved in this project, and there's
Yeah.
a lot to show for it.
It's fun to work in an environment where people are passionate and motivated. Everybody's got a grandmother and grandfather,
Yep.
or everybody. So this touches the hearts of everybody, I think.
Yeah, sure is. I want to turn the tables just for a moment to you. You've been an executive at some corporate organizations like Amoco and BP. And what I'm wondering is what your journey has been that led you to Martin Avenue Apartments, and what has that been like?
Okay, well, it's kind of a loaded question, but
There's a lot to
yes,
unpack there.
after a long career, over 25 years with Amoco and BP through finance and through the corporate real estate department, and I left there. There were organizational changes at the time. My entire department was outsourced. Remember outsourcing? And So I took the opportunity to do something different and use the everything I had learned and skills I had learned to work in the community for a change, because I was traveling all over the world for a while there and I didn't get out in the community much. And I started working with local nonprofit businesses on business development, particularly with any kind of real estate needs and changes. In fact, I was on the original Loaves and Fishes relocation team there, and worked with the nonprofit Kids Cabaret when they created their theater, which grew to 25,000 square feet. The demand, there with the kids was big, and Naperville Independent Film Festival, and a variety of others small. And it also gave me an opportunity I still had small children at the time. So finally, the first time in my career, I was able to really balance work and life a lot better. And I learned some things there. But as the kids, moved on, and I I just got to thinking, and I had some experiences with my own family, and I learned the plight of the senior and developed a much greater understanding. I started thinking that maybe what I really would enjoy doing is working for a developer who, did master plans for new senior communities. I started thinking, wow, with the baby boomers and, these places are popping up all over. Maybe I belong there. And maybe, between what I've learned and my advancing age as well, I could contribute there. And during my process of just kind of talking with people about that concept and, connections, somebody said, they're in the middle of building a brand new addition to Martin Avenue, and they need board members with your corporate experience. And I joined the board during that time of transition, and I really was impressed.
It's almost like that's how they
And
get you.
but I didn't know that shortly after that, this executive director role, which didn't exist before, was now coming on. And I thought, I think I can make a difference there. And that's how and I'm 4 years into it now. And I, quite frankly, surprise myself all the time. I don't know where the passion is coming from, but it's there. And I think it's really coming from really being able to see the results of what you do and create. I love to create things that don't exist. And that's what's inspiring.
Sure. I mean, you were there right at the heart of the new building coming
Yes.
to fruition, which wasn't just a new building, right? It was also all of the existing rooms and apartments really
It was
rehabbed.
quite a challenge because for a period of time, part of the project was moving each and every resident out into a hotel for 2 weeks so that their unit could be completely renovated. I mean, we're talking, gutted and redone. And that schedule and all of those things, and then COVID erupted in the middle of that and slowed
Gosh.
down construction. And we had, of course, health concerns. Um, People were trying to stay in one place and not be exposed, especially the elderly.
And it was a
So
difficult
there
time.
were challenges, yes. And so we had a board. Our board is all volunteer. We now have 16 board members, and with a variety of professional disciplines. And we held it together with a great property management team too.
Yeah. So the parent organization, the nonprofit that owns Martin Avenue Apartments. So we're talking about really an all volunteer led organization, really, until they hired an
I am
executive
the
director.
I am the sole employee
Right.
of Naperville Elderly Homes. And that's a big responsibility, leading the mission and vision and making sure it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that saying they have in the corporate world? One note, one neck to choke, or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
I
no
don't forget.
pressure.
I don't forget that. Every got to report every couple of months, and yeah, when I
Oh,
say I'm going to
sure.
do something, I have to do it. So it's as
S-
simple as that.
So let me ask you this. Let's just talk about the mission itself. Why is affordable senior living so important in our community?
Well, Naperville is a welcoming community, and prides itself on a community that's open to all. And we have over 20,000 senior citizens living in Naperville. And not only Naperville, but that number, throughout DuPage County. I don't even have the statistics there. Uh, but without a doubt, seniors of all walks of life sometimes, and more often than we want to believe, find themselves in a situation that they never expected to be in. We have incomes of average incomes of 20,000 a year. Uh, and we want to keep people in their homes and keep people independent or keep people near their families, which is so important to them in particular. So I think our municipality, as well as the county, values what we're doing and would like to have more of it. It's not just about low income, affordable homes, it's quality homes in an environment like downtown Naperville with bus transportation, with walking distance library, with all the things that can keep them um, living fulfilling lives. So how do we do it? How do we do it? Yes, there's the cities can help us, but we need uh, the community. We partner for services, for we volunteer organizations, uh, at clubs like Naperville Junior Women's Club does 4 or 5 events for us a year. Thanksgiving dinner, flowers at Mother's Day come in for all, the residents, all those. And it's no secret, we've got 70% women in our facility. I think that pretty much tracks with many senior communities, all over. But besides that, we sometimes it's just out there for the taking. It's low hanging fruit. VNA Healthcare, they come to our facility. This is part of what they do. They get grants for doing this kind of thing. They come out, they do free blood pressure checks for our people. They have a pop-up clinic. You know, um, there are banks on Naperville Bank and Trust right in our backyard comes in and helps our people with banking a couple of times a month. They even do lunch and learns about finances.
They're a great
The
community partner.
the
Yeah. Naperville Bank and
resources,
Trust.
and there's more to be had. I mean, it almost could take two more of me to uncover all of the things we have here in Naperville and DuPage County and make it work. And really, I guess I didn't tell you our mission. We say here we are, and what we're doing is providing affordable homes to seniors, fulfilling lifestyles, and reliable community resources. So it's one thing to give somebody a list and say, hey, here you go. DuPage County's got all kinds of services. Or not just DuPage, but a list of resources. It's another thing to vet those and have the contacts and have them know who we are and bring them into our facility.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a
there's a
lot.
couple of things to unpack there. So let's just jump back to why it's so important, right? So you'd mentioned there's over 200 residents and there's 20,000 seniors just in the city alone. And
Right.
so there's like a 10x sort of a component going on here. Is it 10x or 100x? Somebody's going to check that math later at some point, but there's a need out there, right? So of course
Yeah.
there's a pressing need for affordable senior home living, and then you started getting into how you're doing that, how Martin Avenue Apartments is doing that through the community support. But I'm guessing there's also some subsidization happening that keeps those apartments so affordable as well.
Well, we have 40% of our apartments are HUD subsidized.
Okay.
The other
That helps a
60%,
great deal.
it has to do, we are very active with researching grants, applying for grants. We do at least one big fundraiser a year, a variety of things to ensure, and we're looking at that. We look at, okay, how are our costs doing? Particularly during COVID, there were costs that we never incurred before, even additional maintenance, all of that. How is that trickling down and possibly affecting our rents, and what do we need to do about it? And we have to be agile. We have to um, take advantage of opportunities and look for opportunities to bridge that gap and keep it affordable. And we also do rent assistance, flat out rent assistance by way of some of those grants.
Okay.
And food assistance as well. I mean, at the end of the month, do you really want to make a decision of whether you can pay for your prescriptions or get groceries? And one of the things we do, besides sponsoring, birthday lunches every month, the holiday lunches, we provide at Thanksgiving time grocery gift cards, usually in the neighborhood of $85 to $100 for every resident through grants. And there's 200 people there. So that's, close to $20,000 in food gift cards for residents.
I want to say that there's a component in here, and I'm going to use the word dignity, but I think it's much more than that, because you're not just giving them an apartment. You're not just giving them four walls, a bedroom and a kitchen. You're not just giving them a facility that has all these different amenities and bus rides and transportation to and from this heart of the city center. There's so much more going on there. So I think it starts with dignity, but I think they're living, the living environment that you're providing these seniors are really nothing short of what you would expect from a city in Naperville.
It's as nice as any senior community any of the top end senior communities you've ever visited. And we're very, very proud of that. And we have a couple of videos we've done, just, residents that have agreed to be a part of it and to share their experiences after moving into Martin Avenue apartments versus what they were dealing with before, when you have to find affordable housing, such as safety issues. You feeling safe and secure is one of the biggest things they say change their lives, as well as the fact that they feel that it's a home. They don't feel like they're living in an institutional setting, let's say.
Yeah.
They have said time and time again, I feel like it's like a family here. They feel connected, and we do a lot of socialization. We have a full-time activities director who really does a variety of fun things. There's even dinner and movie night out in the courtyard during the nice weather, and bus trips to Arboretum or local plays, or the music. We have entertainers come in. We also take them out. We have a system where they can register. We have a calendar full of things. It's also, by the way, on our website. Our website explains and even shows some of those videos for those that would want to know more. It's Martin
nice.
Avenue, martinavenue.org. It's just a whole package, I think. But we want to do better. We want to do better. And
so you're not just as good as any top independent living facility out there. I would actually say that maybe you're a model for others to follow with all that you've accomplished. But I am going to call you out on something, because I'm not going to just keep blowing smoke.
Okay.
You said you were the sole employee, but you also mentioned you have a full-time activities director. So that either that is a volunteer position or that's paid out of somebody else's.
No, you see, Evergreen Real Estate employs our property management team.
Okay.
And while we have expenses that pass through to the nonprofit, that's how it functions. That's how through rent revenues we're able to do this. And we also, just this past year, hired a social services coordinator. And it's one of the best things we've ever done, because as an independent nonprofit and property management team, we don't do medical. We don't get in the middle of our residents' medical needs, but it fits our mission like a glove. The social services coordinator can connect them personally with residents, help them with their medical bills, questions about Medicare, all of those sorts of things. So it's a little more complex than meets the eye in terms of, the property management budget and what's pure property management and what isn't. But that's how, and that's why we are different. I don't know of an independent senior community that has a nonprofit doing these things, providing these things.
Run the show. Indeed. Well, I mean, you've been here, you said 4 years now. So I guess I would want to know, what have been besides the pandemic, what have been some of the challenges that you've come up against and overcame?
Well, there's some, on the community side, awareness has been surprising, that even in our own community, after being in the community 50 years, there were many that didn't know what Martin Avenue does. And that's important, because how do we expand our partnerships and relationships? Our immediate neighbors, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but our immediate neighbor, our medical neighbor, just to the east of us, did not know what we did until 2 years ago. So, they are now one of our partners. They are now, they've come and done educational sessions for us. Lyndon Oaks has been down to help us even during the pandemic. with emotional issues, also
Oh,
um,
nice.
a variety of things, Samarican counseling. You know, one of the realities of living in a senior community is people pass away, and sometimes very unexpectedly, and it's very hard. So we've
Of course.
had group sessions on managing those things, grief, and this is part of the journey of the senior. You know, where they say you have to be tough to grow old. There might be
You
some
do.
truth to that,
Yes, there is. Yep.
and we want to support them, and that's why our mission is different
Well
than
said.
what.
Well said. As a child of aging parents, I know you have to be very tough, and my parents are tough, um, going through that stage of their life. And you said, gosh, you have a waiting list of 2 years. So building this community awareness isn't so much about filling that pipeline because you've got the waiting list. It's really about just building that community awareness and building those resources for the residents. It's all about the residents and their quality of
Yes,
life.
yes. And now we have community space we didn't have before. And we have the ability to bring in others and and open up like a Medicare session. What's new? You know, we're all talking about these new changes. We have invited neighboring communities, and we're on that path to make some of the programs open to our other community seniors to get support.
Wow, that's
That's
great.
more of a vision than what we're not entirely there yet, but we've been doing some of that, and we want to do more of it.
It's great. Well, with the 2 year waiting list, Mary, what is next? What do you see as the future for Martin Avenue?
Well, we are um, bringing in, as you know, we're proud of what's been created, and we're bringing in um, people that would not have another reason to see Martin Avenue or know about us, to explain that we can be a model community for others that want to do the same thing. And we're working toward that, and we're also looking at possible expansion opportunities, not on our own property, but that is very real, and it's going to take some time.
So there is a desire
Absolutely,
to do that,
it's
to expand
it, because
to
it's
another property.
frustrating. Our waiting list is 2 years because we cut it off at 2 years, and the reason we cut it off is because after that the data isn't reliable. You know, things
Right.
change, people have different circumstances. But now seeing is believing, right? You know, we could have said all day long before we did the renovation that this was our goal. Now we can show others, and we can tell others how we do it, and look what we have. It's unique.
Unique it is. Just take one step into the lobby and you get a sense of what you're about to see and what unfolds in front of you. And the residents, even as a visitor, talking to some of the residents, they're genuinely happy
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
there.
yeah. We do town halls every couple of weeks, and we have refreshment. Every time we do something, you know, we get the cookies and the different things out, and they
Yeah.
come in, and it's also starts out as a social event. But honestly, we have, you know, sometimes 70 people in that community room, and our activities director, social service coordinator, myself, property manager, and usually we invite a couple of board members because we have a resident committee that also does things to help support the residents. And we all sit in the front and uh, tell them what's new, what's happening, and what do you think, and what would you like to see. And honestly, you know, at first we were like, gee, be careful what you ask for, right?
Right. Right.
Uh, what are they going to say? They were I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It was like a love fest. You know,
Well,
I'm
what better
dating
sounding
myself.
board? Yeah. Well, what better sounding
Yeah.
board than the people that are, experiencing it? firsthand.
Uh, and it's just great to see. And I
Wow.
never expected that I could walk in somewhere and feel like I have almost 200 extended family sitting there. And it's a responsibility that I take very seriously. I come in the door and I hear people say, Mary's here, Mary's here. Oh my gosh. I mean, not that it's not about me. It's about the fact that they feel supported and that people are looking out for them. And they talk that
Yeah.
way very fondly about the staff too, the property management staff.
It could also be, and I just happen to know this, maybe not many people do, but that you may also have a bit of a fan base there too, because you're not just the executive director of the nonprofit. You're also an entertainer.
You're making me come clean there. Uh, it is
Indeed.
it is a hobby that I enjoy.
Yep.
And I was a music enthusiast and entertainer as a young woman, and then got involved in corporate life and raising kids. And that was the end of that. And about 6 years ago, I saw with my parents and relatives at assisted living and some nursing homes, they had entertainment. And I thought, you know, I think I might be able to put together some shows that are a little more meaningful to them. And so during COVID, I wrote 8 different show themes with them in mind, with the senior population in mind. And that is, I do get around and do a couple shows a month on a Saturday afternoon around the whole area. So, and at Martin Avenue at
Yeah, Martin Avenue.
Christmas and couple shows, and
So great.
they get it, they enjoy it. So yeah, a lot of times I'll walk in and they say, "When are you going to sing again, Mary?"
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's fun all the way around, and that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's truly putting yourself into everything that embodies Martin Avenue and Naperville Elderly Homes. So I'm sure the residents really appreciate that. I'm sure your fan base, and now that you got your show on the road, I'm sure you've got quite the following as well.
Anyway, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you for being a part of the show and explaining to everybody what Martin Avenue does. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that I'm sure still has yet to hear the name, or they've heard all the good things about what you're doing over there, but haven't really put a finer point on it. So thank you for sharing that with us.
it's a great opportunity to share it this way too, Paul.
Yeah. Any parting thoughts before we close it out for our listeners?
Yeah, I don't have any cute little memorable saying other than what we do does take a village. It's a you hear that time again,
So
and
true.
it's true. In order to sustain what we do, it takes the people around us that recognize the need and also understand the need and have a passion for it, that make it work.
Sure. And the community is
And
certainly
it's home.
stepped up. And it's
It's
home.
home. It's home. It's not just an apartment building.
Yeah. That is clear. And the community has certainly stepped up, and there's so much more that can be done, as you mentioned. So how to get involved? We can look at the website for those opportunities.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And um, I, um, I'm also actively going out and recruiting, and in fact, working right now with District 203 students, some of the honors students that are going to come and
Nice.
volunteer and help our people with technology, their phones and their laptops, and how do we get involved? Please, don't hesitate to call the office, and we will definitely connect. And you know,
Yeah, there's lots of things
we
that can
love
be done,
we love
and
it.
matching them to their skill sets. Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for sharing everything. I really appreciate it. Those are great parting thoughts, and so true with the village. Again, we mentioned everything from the community on up to the city and the county, and then all the way up to the IDA, with the Illinois Housing Authority.
Yes, Housing Development Authority.
Housing Development Authority. Yeah. So
Yes.
awesome. Well, thank you.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Till next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Mission Matters podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.